This discussion is going to be about the true cost of owning a single lens reflex film camera versus a digital single lens reflex camera body. Some people ask, should I upgrade my present DSLR body? And it's kind of an extension of our mirrorless versus DSLR discussion that we had a couple of weeks ago. In our previous discussion, we found both some pros and some cons with owning either a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. One, there was a clear advantage and disadvantage to both the mirrorless and the DSLR camera bodies. Camera manufacturers, we found, need to make converts so that they can sell more cameras. So what they do is to accentuate the positive and to ignore certain negative aspects of both. It's called planned obsolescence, and you need to know for sure what it is you're looking for so you don't get caught in that trap. We also need to realize that it is the sensor that makes or breaks a camera body, not all of its bells and whistles. These bells and whistles are nice. Some of them for every particular photographer is necessary, but it's the sensor that is the most important thing because it captures the image. There is barely any total weight difference between mirrorless and DSLR systems, and that's something that most people don't realize. Now, that is contingent on the fact that you're buying lenses and bodies for the same size sensor. So that if you have a full frame body DSLR with full frame lenses, then the conversion to a full frame mirrorless is not going to be that much of a weight difference. It's going to be very close. The only way that you are going to save a tremendous amount of weight is by going to a smaller sensor size or purchasing lenses that are f4 instead of f2.8. Therefore, the glass can be smaller. A 5-axis body stabilization sensor is nice, but there are times when lens stabilization is better. Long lenses, we found, is one of the prime examples. Battery life and dust problems are getting better with mirrorless, but DSLR cameras are still better in this aspect. What you see in a mirrorless body viewfinder is both amazing and overwhelming at the same time. Glare can potentially be a problem on electronic viewfinders, but things like depth of field preview and seeing exposure change in real time would be nice to have. Mirrorless electronic shutters are getting better on the higher end bodies, but they can still cause some problems under the right conditions. These and many other things are what we discussed in that previous session. So let's look at the cost between an SLR versus a DSLR and see whether or not it might be more advantageous to upgrade the DSLR instead of going to mirrorless. And I'll show you what I mean by this. In the last 4 years, I took 36,000 photos on the 2 camera bodies that I owned. That's a lot of images. I don't know if I would have taken that many if I would have been using a film camera, but we're going to assume that I would have. If I use 36 exposure film rolls, it would be 1,000 rolls that I would need to shoot in order to get 36,000 images. 36,000 divided by 36 photos equals 1,000 rolls of film. Color film right now averages around $8 per roll. And you can spend as little as 5 or 6, and you can spend as much as 12 or more. Developing and making 4x6 prints is about $22. Now, some places would be a little cheaper, but nicer labs are going to cost even more. So, for every 36 exposure roll of film, it is going to cost about $30. $8 plus $22 equals $30. So look at this. 36,000 photos in 4 years would cost about $30,000. 1,000 rolls of film times $30 per roll equals $30,000. That's an awful lot of money being spent on processing. And of course, with a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, either one, that cost goes away. But what happens is that the price of a DSLR or a mirrorless camera is higher than a lot of the old film cameras. So some might say you buy a DSLR once and you use it for maybe the rest of your life and you never pay for film processing again. That's only true up to a certain point, because as new processors come out and new camera bodies come out and new sensors come out, the image quality goes up. Therefore, in order to get better images, you can't put better film or different kind of film in your camera. You actually have to upgrade your sensor. But to upgrade your sensor, you have to buy a new body. How much has a DSLR saved you over that 4-year period of time? Well, DSLR bodies range in price from $400 at the low end with a crop sensor on one of the low-end crop sensor bodies, and a full frame body, a high end, is $3,000 or more. They can go up to $6,000, $8,000 sometimes. So let's say that you owned a low-end crop sensor DSLR. That means you have saved about $29,600 over the 4-year period of time of taking 36,000 images. $30,000 in film and processing minus $400 for the cost of your body leaves you with $29,600. Now, we're not counting lenses, because lenses, you're going to have to buy lenses for both systems. And even if you were to purchase a full frame DSLR to take those 36,000 images, that means that you have still saved $27,000 over that 4-year period of time. $30,000 in film and processing minus $3,000 for your camera body equals $27,000. So, what's my point? Even though camera bodies cost a fair amount of money, buying a new one is way less expensive than shooting film. And buying a new camera body every few years is still way more economical than the alternative, provided you do not need to upgrade your lenses. For instance, like if you were to switch systems or you were to switch camera brands. Per our discussion about mirrorless versus DSLR, it may be more expedient for now to purchase a new DSLR body with the features you might want than it is to switch to mirrorless. Provided, of course, that you are happy with the lenses that you presently own, and provided mirrorless bodies do not offer some feature or features you cannot live without. I realize that no one listening is going to go out and purchase a film camera right now, but I do know that many are wrestling with whether they should upgrade their present DSLR or switch to mirrorless. I have come to the conclusion that keeping my present camera system is the best choice for me, at least for now. I like what I own, and the body, sensor, and lenses I use get the job done in ways that none of my former film cameras ever could. But I may upgrade another body or possibly purchase 1 or 2 lenses that I have been contemplating. Therefore, when it comes to mirrorless, I'm going to have to see what the future holds. But for now, I am sticking to digital DSLR. Thank you for watching.